and we are thrilled to partner with Pathfinder International for now what is the third event linking international reproductive health and family planning implementers and advocates. We are thrilled to be joined by Congressman Bera from California's 7th District, and I think many of you had a chance to meet the Congressman over coffee as we were gathering. I think as many of you know, Dr. Bera is a physician, and he knows firsthand the importance of women's health care, both here in the United States and around the world. As a member of the House Subcommittee on Africa and Global Health, he is a strong leader for family planning. So Congressman, our community, I think the many offices that we represent here in the United States and around the world are just very appreciative of the championing that you've provided for these issues. You've been such a strong advocate, and we're thrilled that you've taken the time to join us this morning, so thank you.
If I project, can you guys hear me, or would you prefer using the mic? Mic? Okay. I have a problem with this gesticulation, my hands talk. It comes from teaching in colleges a lot. First off, I want to thank Maurice Stokes International and Pathfinder for inviting me. Certainly, as we look at the issue of empowering women around the world, as we look at the issue of empowering families around the world, there really isn't any greater topic. And when I think about this, I think about it in a very personal sense, both as a doctor, but also as the father of a daughter, and wanting my daughter to grow up in a world where she has both equal rights, she has a sense of herself that she can go out there and ask for whatever she wants. But it's not enough that just my daughter has those rights. Every woman around this country, around this world, should feel that same way. They should feel that they can demand equal rights. They can have full control over their bodies. They can have full control over their reproductive rights. And when you talk about the issue of reproductive rights and family planning, both here domestically and internationally, there isn't any other greater human value than control over your own body. So that's why this fight is both personal and an incredibly important fight, both here domestically and in the international realm. In my work on the Africa and Global Health Committee, as well as my work on the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've had the opportunity to travel to India and to travel to other parts of the world throughout my life. On my recent travels to India, certainly had a chance to meet with a group called Sneha that's working in the Mumbai slums. They're doing evidence-based practice. It started by women physicians in Mumbai, and it really is looking at that issue of gender equity, of how men treat women. Particularly, there's a real issue of sex-selective abortions and so forth, and that isn't an issue of reproductive rights, that's an issue of gender equity, and how you go into the slums and very early on work with boys, so as they're growing up, they understand that you're changing behaviors. And Sneha is doing pretty incredible work, as are a number of NGOs around the world. In addition, coming from my academic background, as a university professor at UC Davis, we're working very close.
Sorry.
What's that? Aggies. There you go. So.
I don't hear that very much in DC.
UC Davis?
Yeah.
So, as a faculty member at UC Davis and throughout the UC system, what our academic institutions are doing are incredibly important. Just this past week, I had a chance to meet with 2 colleagues from UCSF's medical school who are doing some incredible work in Kenya, looking at, certainly PEPFAR has provided tremendous resources and has had an impact. But their research is looking at the commingling of family planning services and HIV preventive services, and doing those in the same location, in a single location. And what they've seen is a dramatic increase in the efficacy, in the adherence, and the compliance. And it's studies like that. Now, here in Washington, D.C., we have some real challenges. I'm on the Africa and Global Health Subcommittee. We've had some somewhat interesting hearings that the chairman of that committee has called. And it's incredibly important to be there to provide a counter narrative, a counter viewpoint, to push back when necessary. And I think when I think about my legislative agenda, it does come back to that issue of equity, equal rights, human rights for everyone. I'm going to close with this. When I think about my upcoming legislative agenda, I know you'll be talking about issues at the international level, but I would want to make sure we don't forget the fight that we have here domestically. And as we go forward, we've been talking to the entire medical community about this issue of legislative interference, where state legislatures are starting to come into our exam room, and I take this personally as a doctor, and starting to dictate how I practice medicine. The most blatant example are the states that are mandating invasive procedures like vaginal ultrasounds that are totally unnecessary. But it spans the whole spectrum to, in the state of Florida, not being able to ask someone about firearms in the home. In the state of Pennsylvania, not being able to talk about the chemicals that are used in fracking. So this issue of legislative interference, particularly though the most blatant examples are in the issue of reproductive rights, you're starting to see these state legislatures move the agenda and move an agenda that has nothing that's based in science. It's not based in evidence-based medicine. It is solely based on an agenda and an ideology that really it has no basis. So as physicians, I really do want to see the physician community stand up and start pushing back. And it is an issue of that sanctity of the doctor-patient relationship. My job and the oath I took as a doctor is to sit there and answer the questions that my patients have, to empower her to make the choices that best fit their faith, their family circumstances, and their individual circumstances. That is the oath that we all take when we enter the practice of medicine. Patient autonomy is core to one of the ethics, and that is a fight that we have to be very vigilant on here domestically as we also continue to expand access and make sure that we're adequately funding international family planning. Now, I'll also close with two of my colleagues, Congresswoman Slaughter and Congresswoman DeGette, are leading a charge to make sure we adequately fund international family planning. And for any of the Hill staff that are in this room, I would encourage you to have your members take a look at the letter that they're authoring and encourage your members to get on that letter. So again, I'm extremely appreciative for the time. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the work that all of you are doing, and always count on our office if there's issues that we need to get out there and get out in front. So you've got a strong partner in our office. Thank you.